You know, I don't always play games where small children beat each other senseless, but when I do, it's Battle Arena Toshinden or Virtual Fighter Kids. Battle Arena Toshinden is a fighting game released for the Nintendo Game Boy in 1996. The game is a port of Battle Arena Toshinden for the original PlayStation and Sega Saturn. It's no secret that today, the Battle Arena Toshinden series is viewed as a mediocre fighting series. So you'd think going from the 32-bit PlayStation and Saturn to the 8-bit Game Boy would be a recipe for disaster. But you know what? Battle Arena Toshinden for the Game Boy is amazing! If you watch my streams, you've probably already heard me go on about this game several times. But after playing it again for this review, the game is even better than I remember. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The Game Boy version of Battle Arena Toshinden is the best game in the series, the best fighting game on the original Game Boy, and a true hidden gem. Just how has no one talked about this game before? We have so many large YouTubers and I've never seen anyone dedicate the time and attention this game deserves. It baffles me. Okay, I got a little carried away there, but I'm okay now, let's continue. The game comes in a Game Boy cardboard box. I gotta say, I don't really like the cover. I was never into the whole chibi craze that Japan underwent during the mid-90s, and this game was a clear victim of that. For those who don't know, chibi is an art style in which you draw all characters as small children. Some people like it, some don't, but unfortunately I fall into the latter. Inside, we find a manual and cartridge. The manual provides a tiny smidge of backstory for each character, but more importantly, it also does a really good job at teaching you how to play the game, and provides the moveset for all characters. This is one of those games where I feel having the manual is mandatory, as there are some quirks to the game that you wouldn't necessarily pick up without reading it. So, if you're gonna buy this game, my recommendation is to try and track down the manual as well, or at least download a scan. Booting at the game, you get to pick from one of 8 characters. The story seems to take place between Battle Arena Toshinden 1 and 2, and it has bosses from both games. But more importantly, look at how smooth the game is! This is amazing! If you owned a Game Boy back in the day, you probably still remember how slow and jerky most fighting games on the system were. I mean, hell, look at Street Fighter 2 on the console. And Battle Arena Toshinden was only launched a year after Street Fighter 2, but the improvements are day and night. And I'm not even showing you the turbo mode. More on that later. As you'd expect with any fighting game, characters have their own set of special moves. I'll admit I'm not a pro at fighting games, but they seem to be pretty balanced. Mostly because a lot of characters seem to have similar attacks. Moreover, if you don't want to remember everyone's special moves, the game also gives you the option to use shortcuts. Basically, if you press A and B at the same time, followed by any direction, or if you jump and then press A and B, you'll perform a special move. The manual states which direction applies to which move, but it is a nice way of introducing newcomers to the fighting genre, as it saves you the trouble of having to memorize everyone's button inputs. Though I should point out, there are some moves that you can't pull off by doing this, and those aren't listed in the manual either. Once again, more on that later. When a character's health drops below a certain level, it begins to flash and you can pull off a desperation move. There's no limit to how many times you can pull it off, so you can essentially just spam this move, which usually works against the AI, unless you increase the difficulty. If you ever played the 3D versions of Battle Arena Toshinden, you also know that the game relied heavily on the ring out feature, which also made the transition to the Game Boy. When you push a character onto the edge of the arena or land a successful hit while they're at the edge, they will lose a rope gauge. Once all rope gauges are gone, the character falls and it's game over. Not gonna lie, I abused the hell out of this mechanic during some of the cheaper boss fights. And let me tell you, there are some cheap motherfuckers in this game. The sidestep also made a transition into this game. If you press down on the D-pad twice, your character will become invulnerable for a short time, but is also unable to attack or move. And finally, I just want to point out how perfect the hit detection is. You never feel like you're missing hits that should have landed, or vice versa. And it's incredibly easy to pull off combos and combine special moves. I swear, I just can't get over how well done this game is and how it's so much better than its 32-bit counterparts. Even the music is amazing. Hell, I think I prefer the chiptune renditions over the original CD-based audio. Oh, but we're not done yet! When you finish the game, it'll give you cheat codes which unlock new characters, new special moves, and if you're playing on a Super Game Boy, you can even unlock a turbo mode. And you can use all of these cheat codes together. So yes, you've essentially just unlocked Super Battle Arena Toshinden Turbo. Are you kidding me? So I've just mastered a fighting game and now you're giving me more characters, more moves, and you've actually made the game even faster? And this was your biggest competitor? Capcom, what the hell are you doing? This is an insane amount of content for a fighting game, especially an 8-bit one. I can't think of any 16-bit fighting game that essentially unlocks its own sequel or updated version after you complete it. Hell, even modern games don't do this. If anything, they'd sell you all the characters, new moves, and turbo as DLC. I am honestly at a loss for words. This game is amazing. I have no idea how Takara managed to create such a superb fighting experience on the limited Game Boy, while still giving you as much content as they did. Battle Arena Toshinden for the Game Boy is an amazing game. This is without any doubt the best fighting game I have ever played on the Game Boy. It's the best game in the Battle Arena Toshinden series and is a true hidden gem for the system. Unfortunately, having launched so late into the system's life and during a time when people were more interested in 3D games, Battle Arena Toshinden didn't do too well on the Game Boy. It seems like you can find the cartridge for a relatively cheap price, but a complete copy will cost you in the hundreds. Yikes. I'm glad I begged my parents for a copy when I was a kid, because this is one game I did not expect to go up in value. But seriously, go out and get this game, even if it's just a cartridge. For now, this is still a hidden gem on the Game Boy, but one day, sooner or later, some YouTuber who is way bigger than I am might review this game, and they might actually do a good job at it, and give this game the attention and praise it deserves. And when that happens, I'd expect the price to go up considerably. Hey everyone, thank you for watching St1ka's Retro Corner. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. All that fun social media stuff. And be sure to hit that notification bell icon to know when a new video is out. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Bye!